Good evening and welcome to CYC News for today, the 6th of July 2014 AD and the 29th of Bauna 1730 AM. I'm Mark Aza.
And I'm Dina McHale. In today's headlines, Iraq's displaced Christians begin returning to their homes whilst 2 nuns and 3 orphans are kidnapped in the northern city of Mosul. Middle Eastern Christians in the US call for global intervention in the Iraqi crisis. And Sudanese Christian Meriam Ibrahim speaks out about giving birth in prison.
More than 3,000 displaced families returned today to Karakosh, the largest Christian city in Iraq, located in the Nineveh province in northern Iraq. Many shops have been reopened, despite a lack of the most basic necessities of life, such as drinking water, with residents being urged to buy water from tanker trucks that transport water from artesian wells in the area. The city is also suffering from a power cutoff, although there are plans to provide this region with electric power from the Kurdistan region. Many of the private generators have been destroyed by bombing, and the white oil basins were also destroyed, which led to a lack of fuel, as well as gas used for cooking and gasoline. The return of these families comes after Kurdish forces were able to drive back the Daesh troops back last Saturday, forcing the militant extremists to retreat to the village of Salamiya on the outskirts of the Tigris River, which is more than 10 kilometers from the city of Karakosh.
Also in Iraq, the Chaldean Catholic Patriarch Raphael Louis Sacco appealed to kidnappers who had abducted 2 nuns and 3 young orphans last week from the Maskanta orphanage in Mosul, which is located next to the old Chaldean diocese headquarters. The Patriarch pleaded, saying that Christians were the first ones to receive Muslims and that they have lived together for 14 centuries. He continued saying that they want to communicate through coexistence, since they are not a party in the current conflict. The Patriarch called on Muslim clerics and clan elders in Mosul to assist in the release of the kidnapped victims, expressing wishes that the Islamic holy month of Ramadan would become a good omen for peace in the region.
Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., the Middle East Christians Committee and other organizations met last week to call on the international community to purge Mosul and the Nineveh plains of ISIS militants and to provide immediate humanitarian aid and protection to those impacted by violence. In a statement signed by the 13 organizations, the group said, "We strongly urge the United States and the European Union to petition the United Nations Security Council to address this crisis, to issue a resolution under Chapter 7 to deploy international forces to secure our community in Nineveh Plain and Mosul of Iraq," adding that Christians in the Middle East face extinction and that now is the time to act and save them.
Meriam Ibrahim, a Sudanese physician accused of apostasy, has this week spoken out about giving birth in prison during her detention in Khartoum, with her legs in chains, which has left her baby disabled. Ibrahim said that the treatment that she received in prison when authorities refused to remove the shackles on her legs whilst giving birth caused disability to her daughter, who was born on the 27th of May this year. She explained that her daughter had been left physically disabled, but the extent of the disability would not be clear until she is older. A Sudanese Supreme Court has decided 2 weeks ago to reverse the verdict against Meriam after broad international condemnation of the ruling and appeals from various governments and organizations for her release. Meriam also spoke about the harassment she faced inside the prison by many of the other inmates and officials, being constantly called an infidel and having Muslim clerics sent into the prison to talk with her in an attempt to sway her away from Christianity.
Now to the World Cup scores. Germany had a 1-0 victory over France, progressing to the World Cup semi-finals, while Brazil beat Colombia 2-1, a great relief for the host nation, who celebrated their win, despite their star player Neymar Santos sustaining a back injury, which has unfortunately ruled him out of further participation in the World Cup.
Researchers report that more than 99% of drug trials for Alzheimer's disease during the past decade have failed, with only one new medicine being approved since 2004. The study conducted by Dr. Jeffrey Cummings and colleagues of the Cleveland Clinic in La Ruvo Center for Brain Health in Las Vegas found that between 2002 and 2012, 99.6% of trials aimed at preventing or curing or improving the symptoms of Alzheimer's had failed or been discontinued. This compares with a failure rate of 81% for cancer drugs. Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia.
And that's all for CYC News for today. Stay tuned for more Christian content on CYC. I'm Mark Azer.
And I'm Dina McHale. And from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia, good night and God bless.